We're going to be talking about helmets today. The focus really is to understand some of the safety ratings, kind of like what you're looking for when it comes to buying a helmet, because you want to protect your skull and protect the brain that's inside of it. Also your airway, that's kind of important. And so we're going to be going over some of these helmets. The safety ratings, kind of like a little bit of the fitment, what helmets that I recommend, some of the stuff that I've seen through a lot of crashes and close calls, and why really a full face helmet is the one you want to get. You don't want to get a 3/4 or even a half helmet. This is what I started off in. But with my knowledge that I've learned, I've decided, you know what, we're going to just do full face. But anyways, we're going to be talking about that. We're also going to be talking a little bit about kind of like the fit and comfort on some of these things and what to look for when you're out there looking for a helmet. But let's go ahead and just start off. I'm going to go ahead and take the one I currently use, and we're going to come over here. Got some talking points right here. The main thing here is we're going to be talking a little bit about the safety ratings. So right here is, let's go ahead and, come on. There we go, the safety ratings. These are what the safety ratings you'll typically see on the back side of a helmet. And let's go ahead and bring that back up here. If you can see, it says DOT, and then on the bottom it says ECE and a bunch of different little numbers. That's what you're going to want to look for when it comes to a helmet. In the United States, DOT, Department of Transportation, is going to be the main thing there. And then ECE is the European version of basically safety ratings. They do it for a lot of stuff, not just motorcycle helmets. And I like to make sure I get an ECE rated helmet, not just a DOT helmet. And the reason why I do that is because DOT is a post-market testing. So people can like make a helmet, slap a DOT sticker on it, and it can be on the market for years, and the federal government will have to test it after the fact, and sometimes they don't really get to it. But ECE, the one that I like, they do pre-market testing, so they do all the testing, and then they can actually put it out on the market. So if you're in America and you see an ECE helmet, you know that it's been tested before it's been put out on the market. So I always get an ECE, and well, in the United States, DOT, because it has to have DOTs. But ECE is what I look for. So I don't just grab a DOT only helmet. Now this is a full face helmet. This is from Voss. I've done some affiliate stuff with them, and I decided to buy my own helmets from them and made some money back just from doing a few sales. But the main thing here is that I get a full face helmet, and this is more of like an adventure style helmet. You can tell by the little top visor here, but it's a full face helmet. And the reason why I get a full face helmet is because of this big boy right here, the chin bar. It's gonna protect my airway, it's gonna protect my face in case I go head first into the ground after a crash, which typically happens. So natural reaction is that when you hit something, you're gonna fly forward or you're gonna put your hands down, but your face typically hits because you can't really protect yourself. You can't really hold yourself up after a crash and do a really good push-up. So having a chin bar is really helpful, because if I do crash and hit my face, I'm not only gonna mess up my beard, but my jaw and the airway itself. And so even if I don't have a traumatic brain injury or anything like that, but I can't breathe, well, guess what? I'm not gonna survive. So I want a full face helmet. Also, it comes with a nice little visor, or I'm sorry, face shield. And if you can tell right here, this little button looking thing, and then it almost looks like a double pane window. This is what's called the pin lock. I don't know if you can see that there, but a pin lock. And what that does is that some helmets have face shields that are ready for that. And when you're out riding in colder weather or any other type of weather that's gonna be like foggy, just different temperatures outside versus inside your helmet, because you breathe out some warmer air, it's gonna fog everything up. So the pin lock actually prevents that fogging, and so it's really nice. And you can also put, you know, like anti-fog spray on your helmets or your face shields, but make sure you get the plastic one, not the glass one, because the glass will eat the plastic. So a little tidbit there. But we're gonna go ahead and talk a little bit about the next kind of helmet, which is going to be this helmet right here. This is going to be a modular helmet. Now, modular helmets are pretty cool. I like modular helmets, and the reason why I like modular helmets because they're modular. They flip up like this. So now it turns into a 3/4 helmet, so it's gonna cover the base of the skull and then around the front, but not the face. Now, you don't wanna be riding with this up all the time, actually at all, because if you do crash, this can hit the ground and it's gonna yank your neck and yank your head, and that's not a good thing. So ride with it down, and it's a full face helmet. Same thing, has a little pin lock system involved. You're gonna find modular helmets in different brands. This is once again a Voss helmet. But these are really cool because if you're out riding for a long time and you're riding with a full face and you want to get off the bike and you're going to fill up your gas, or you want to go into the store and you want to be able to talk and listen and hear a little bit better, popping this open to talk to the clerk. You can grab yourself a drink or whatever. You can also eat and drink with this on. It's a little bit hard because chipmunk cheeks, it's going to be squishing your cheeks a little bit, but still you can take a nice little sip and then not even take the helmet off and pop it back down. So I really like these helmets. They're also really good for parking lot exercises because then you can like take a quick break, pop it open, and then you can have some airflow. This is a full face helmet. Once again, this is a little bit different than the one I have because there is no visor on the top. This is more of like a street riding helmet. Once again, another Voss helmet. As you can tell, it has a nice little chrome front. I like to have the clear on my helmets because then I can slide some glasses in. And then if I get caught out at night, because if I'm riding at dusk or whatever, and it gets darker, I can still utilize the clear and then I just have my sunglasses like in my pocket or something. So you can always have that. And then some helmets, this is the cool thing, I'm going to bring you over here. So if you have a clear face shield right here, you can use this at night, but if you're out riding and you're like, I really want to have some sunglasses, you can go ahead and pop this down. And if this is clear, you can see through. So this is right now having like 2 sunglasses on. This is just having that one. And this also has, this is more of a, see, you can see that right there. Let's go ahead and pop that open. So nice little sunglasses. And then it's like, oh no, it's getting a little dark out. So then they usually have little buttons like this on the sides. It all depends on the helmet. Gets a little dark out, I can pop that back up. Once again, I use sunglasses, a little bit easier for me. I like them, but these are the helmets right here so far. So this is also a full face helmet, but this is also more like a dirt bike type helmet. If you notice, there's no face shield at all. So if you are going to be using something like this on the street, make sure you have some eye protection, like sunglasses. You're going to get a lot of wind noise in there. And one of the things with helmets is that I like to have earplugs so I can protect my hearing. A lot of people are like, I don't want to use earplugs because then I can't hear anything. It actually just removes a lot of the wind noise, which is going to be the damaging noise that you're going to get. And I can still hear music, and I have the old Cardo Packtalk Bold on this one. So I can still hear music, I can still hear the directions, I can even hear traffic, I can even hear my engine and any road noise. I just don't hear that deafening wind going on. So let's go ahead and take this out and put it right here. Now what we have right here is a 3/4 helmet. If you notice on the modular helmet, when it's popped up, it becomes a 3/4 helmet. This is a 3/4 helmet. This is one of my first helmets. And once again, it's only going to protect the base of the skull, the tops and everything, but it's not going to protect the actual face. You can get face shields that will protect your eyeballs in case you have like any road debris, maybe rocks or bugs. But even at a crash, that little face shield is not going to protect your face itself. So that kind of sucks. I don't recommend 3/4 helmets unless you just want to look cool and whatnot. But once again, you're taking that risk, and that's not a risk I want to take. Now, I won't even buy a half helmet because I don't want to really support half helmets. So this is like a bicycle helmet that I have. This is basically a half helmet that you can get for motorcycles. And once again, all it does is protects the top of the head and maybe a little bit in the back, but even some of those don't even protect the back. And I treat them just like they're bicycle helmets. There's not going to protect the sides of the face, your ears, and your face at all. And I want to protect everything, especially in a crash. And honestly, I really love full face helmets. They keep my face warm when it's cold. And even when it's hot, I don't really notice too much because what we have here, and most, if not all, full face helmets have these, is that they do have vents, okay? So there's little vents right here. It's gonna allow airflow to come through. Also, you have a little vent on the chin, so it's gonna have airflow come through. And on the back side, you typically, let's go ahead and grab one of these other ones. On the back side, you're typically gonna have the vents, okay? So what that's doing is an exhaust vent. What that's doing is that it's putting airflow through the top of the head. Let's go ahead and get over here. The top of the head, it's gonna pull air and it's gonna exhaust the really warm air out the back. So it's gonna take that nastiness and it's gonna allow you to be a little bit cooler. Some helmets have way more ventilation, some helmets have less ventilation, but it all depends. So if you are out shopping and it's really, really hot weather, try to find something with a little bit more ventilation, but they pretty much do a good job. So when it comes to fitment and everything, we typically have 3 sizes of heads shapes, okay? So we have long oval, intermediate oval, or round oval, and it kind of sounds a lot like what it is. So let's go and start with the 2 that are pretty obvious. So we have long oval. So what that's doing, if you can see the top of my head, long oval is more like shaped like this, round oval is more round, intermediate oval is in the middle, intermediate in the middle. Most most Americans and Europeans typically have intermediate oval. It's one of the more common head shapes. And so a lot of manufacturers make intermediate oval head shape helmets. And what that means is on the inside of the helmet, basically where the rim of the skull, that's where it's measured. And so when you're wearing a helmet, if you are, let's say you're a long oval head, so it's more of like a cone, but from the top point of view, like this. If you have any other type of helmet, let's say you have an intermediate oval helmet or a round oval helmet and you have that long oval, you're gonna feel pressure on the front of the skull and the back of the skull. So like right here or right here. And what that's gonna do is gonna cause a lot of pain. It's gonna cause headaches when you're out riding, and you're gonna know you're not gonna have the right size helmet or right fitment of a helmet. And you're not gonna wanna wear the helmet after a while because it's gonna be causing pain. So you wanna get a long oval helmet for your long oval head. Same thing with intermediate oval, same thing with round oval. Arai, Shoei, and a bunch of other manufacturers, they do make different sizes and shapes basically on the model. So you want to go ahead and go to like a Cycle Gear, Revzilla, or whatever it is, wherever you're at, and try on some helmets. And if you feel pressure on the front and the back, you probably have a round oval helmet on your intermediate oval or long oval head. If you feel pressures on the sides, you probably have a round oval head and you're trying on an intermediate oval helmet. So you really want to find that helmet when the same size and same shape as your head. And then also, I'm going to go ahead and use the, let's go over this one. Also, when it comes to the cheek pads, they will squeeze on your cheeks. You're going to get a little chipmunk cheeks. You're gonna get like this a little bit, and that's fine, that's typical. These will wear in just a little bit, but not a whole bunch. So if you are trying it on and it's really pushing on, and even if you're just trying to breathe, you bite the sides of your cheeks, might be a little too squishy, and too stiff on the cheek pads. Some cheek pads do have inserts that you can take in and take out depending, and then some manufacturers can actually, you can replace the cheek pad with either a smaller one or a bigger one depending on your needs. So make sure you check that out too, but it's okay to have a little bit of the little chipmunk cheeks. It's just gonna be more snug. And also when you try it on, you don't want to have it rotating on your top of your head. You don't want it loose. I think this one might be a little bit looser because I've worn it in. And that's another good point, is that after a while it will get loosened up. So you don't want it like doing this on your head and super loose. You also don't want it super tight, giving you a headache. You want it snug. These helmets, well, most helmets will last about 5 years. So if you have one that's a little bit old, make sure you replace it after about 5 years. If you're in really hot weather or you use a lot of like different sprays or a lot of conditioning or whatever, the chemicals will actually deteriorate the polystyrene foam, which is the foam that's on the inside of the helmet. This is like the hard candy shell right here. This right here is fine, but on the inside you do have styrofoam basically, okay? And that will degrade over time. Typically 5 years, it'll get too hard and then it'll be brittle. You want it a little bit new. And so like the chemicals, a lot of sweat, a lot of grime, a lot of dirt can actually degrade the chemicals. So maybe about 3 to 5 years you want to check. And how do you know how old your helmet is? Helmets have a manufacture date. Let's see if I can find one here. They do have a manufacture date. There we go. So this helmet, you can see on the bottom left, it says November 2021. And so this helmet is going to be 3 years old pretty soon. So we're getting close, but I haven't worn this a lot, so I think I can get another 2 years out of this helmet. So if you're out there shopping and you see like a really old helmet, like you check the date and it's like 2 years old already, brand new on the shelf, maybe see if you can find one in the back, kind of like checking for milk, or at least, you know, find a different place to buy, because they might be trying to sell off old stuff. Also, when it comes to buying a used helmet, I don't recommend buying used helmets. It's just not a good idea because you don't know what they did with that helmet. The outside of the helmet could look great. They might have never really bumped it, but they could have hit really hard. It doesn't show a lot. Maybe they buffed it out. But on the inside, the polystyrene foam could be cracked. That's not good. If you do drop your helmet accidentally and you have a small little scrape or scratch on the top here, it's probably fine, especially if you drop it from like right here, like you're walking around and accidentally drop it, it should be fine. But in a crash, no, just replace the helmet, it's done. It's just done. Retire it, put it on the wall like if you're a hunter and you put some old heads on the wall. Just keep it for funsies. This is definitely this is at least a decade old. Definitely not gonna wear this when I'm out riding. It's a good visual though. And so double check the ratings, make sure you are checking for fitment. Get yourself a full face helmet, and then also, you know, get the helmet that works for you. If you want to get a 3/4 helmet, okay, cool, because it's really hot out, you want that wind, that's perfectly fine. Just understand you're taking that risk. Also, if you want to get a modular helmet because you like the ability to pop it up and down, pretty cool. That's fine if you want to do that. Make sure you ride with it down. I highly advocate a full face helmet. To clean your visor and everything, just use Windex. That's good for plastics. Just go and wipe it with a microfiber cloth. If you want to wash things, sometimes they have cheek pads that do come out. So take the cheek pads out, get a bucket of soapy warm water, dunk it in, kind of like get the grime off and let it air dry. That should be fine. If you want to clean the outside of the stuff, once again, just the Windex microfiber cloth, and you should be good to go. If you want to deodorize it even more, get some deodorizing spray, spray it in there, call it a day. You know, maybe some antibacterial stuff. You should be good. Try not to get it on the visor itself. But overall, I mean, helmets are pretty easy to go ahead and grab and figure out. Wide range of prices. Just get the one that works for you. It's not super heavy. It's not causing you headaches when you're out putting it on and you have that problem because you didn't get it sized right or whatnot. Don't buy a used helmet, get a full face helmet, okay? So with that said, we're gonna be jumping into gloves, jackets, all the rest of the gear, and yeah, let's go and answer some of those questions.